It is one of the biggest events of the year for the Republican Party, the Mackinac Republican Leadership Conference. They began this afternoon with a panel that included the Speaker of the House, Senate Majority Leader, Secretary of State, Attorney General, Lieutenant Governor, and Governor. 24-hour News 8's political reporter Rick Albin is on Mackinac Island to moderate that panel. He joins us live right now from the Grand Hotel. Rick?
Well, it was an interesting discussion, Susan, because I expected the questions, most of them coming from the audience, a very partisan audience, as you might expect, might not be particularly pointed. Turned out they were. In fact, when the first questions came up, there were about 10 or 12 cards. Fully half of them were questions about that new river crossing, the new bridge you've heard so much about. And there were some wide variances of opinions when it came to what should happen to that bridge in the audience, clearly from the questions, and also on the panel, because not everybody signed on to that. As you know, the legislature still hasn't dealt with it, but Lieutenant Governor Brian Calley, who is the point person for the administration on that bridge, did talk for a little bit about how he sees that issue.
All we're saying is that if a bridge is needed in here, and there's widespread agreement, the owners of the other bridge agree that there's another bridge needed because they want to build one. All we're saying is that we can't just shut out the entire private sector. We have to have a competitive bidding process for the private sector to come in and build it. And so what we want to do is simply pass legislation that would create an authority to negotiate with the Canadians to draft a bid document, because they have to agree to the terms and we have to agree to the terms of the landings of each bridge. And we put that out to bid, and anybody in the private sector, be they the owners of the Ambassador Bridge or they be anybody else, could come in and bid on the bridge, and then they're the ones who have to pay for it.
We're just joined now by Governor Rick Snyder, who's getting ready to do another interview. We just finished up the panel in with the 6 leaders in the state. This is a kickoff for this conference. How do you feel about that so far?
It's great. That was a good conversation. Because I view it, any time I get an opportunity, and any of us get an opportunity to talk first person to our citizens, our customers, it's a great thing.
And you got some questions there. Were you a little surprised? Some of them were a little more pointed than I might have expected from a pretty partisan audience.
Well, that's fine. Again, if you looked at it, in particular, one of the questions, it was an opportunity to clear up a lot of misunderstandings, and I think once I had a chance to talk, people go, wow, that's probably a pretty good idea.
Governor, thank you for your time. I know you've got folks waiting for you over here. Thanks very much. Well, we're going to be here all weekend at the Mackinac Conference because there's a lot more going on than just that panel discussion. There'll be presidential candidates that will be coming by. We talked with Secretary of State Ruth Johnson earlier today about that big primary coming up next year, and she'll clarify some issues on that. All that's coming up later. Right now,